Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Rose Writes and I write and narrate Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction. Huge shout out to Nema Diana. This is a commission from her and she has a lot of amazing art on her Instagram, so her info will be linked below. If you enjoy my stories, don't forget to subscribe for more stuff like this. YouTube told me that only about 40% of you guys that listen are actually subscribed. So stick around, we have fun here. Now then, please enjoy Change Targets, Chapter 3, Ice Cream. The spring day lingered on, the sun slowly setting, and Marinette didn't want to go home. But she also didn't want to be anywhere else. She ambled through the streets of Paris looking like a tourist in her own home. She settled on Pont des Arts, sitting on a bench hunched over. Her eyes scanned the railing, thinking about how just a few years ago each panel had thousands of padlocks from people who committed their eternal love. She was secretly glad they had all been removed. Marinette didn't want to see couples being in love, or any kind of romantic gestures. At least, not right now. A storm raged in Marinette's heart, and she truly didn't know how she felt. The kiss she shared with Cat Noir had been nothing short of perfection. But they got caught up in the moment. After an Akuma attack, they were both thankful to be okay. It was so sudden. With all of these feelings for Cat Noir, she hadn't thought about Adrien in days. Of course, she sees him in school and talks to him occasionally, but she noticed she was no longer fawning over him or stalking him. She really felt like she moved on, but moving on was scary. Marinette held her head in her hands, partly trying not to cry, and also shielding her eyes from the setting sun. She felt someone sit next to her, but not only that, someone sat really close to her, too close. Marinette picked her head up to ask for a bit of space before her eyes landed on the last person she wanted to talk to. "Oh, hey, Cat Noir," she said glumly. His face fell from its happy-go-lucky demeanor. "What's wrong, Princess?" Princess. The nickname ate at her insides, making her stomach twist. Why did she now have this adverse reaction to him? Nothing made sense. As he stared at her neon green eyes wide in concern, she slowly began to understand. Marinette loved Cat Noir fiercely, even knowing she shouldn't. She craved him. His voice, his comforting presence, the way his eyes lit up when he saw her. But it still felt wrong. How could she say she was in love with another boy as Ladybug, and then be in love with him as Cat Noir? It wasn't right. It wasn't fair. Cat deserved better. But she couldn't stop these feelings, no matter how much she wanted to. She tried to smile at him despite the pit in her stomach. "No, I'm fine," she replied simply. "I'm having a bad mental health day, I think." "You know what's great for that?" he asked brightly, way too bright for Marinette's liking. "Crying myself to sleep?" she retorted, only half sarcastically. "No, silly, ice cream!" At that moment, Marinette heard a familiar happy tune and the ringing of dainty bells. Andre the Sweetheart's ice cream maker. He did make the most delicious ice cream in all of Paris, and his endless combinations never failed to be a perfect match. Just like the two of them, Marinette and Cat Noir. Cat Noir and Ladybug, perfect for each other in every way. Marinette slinked over to the singing Andre, who looked at the pair with glee. "Cat Noir, always a pleasure to see you, my boy, and Marinette," he spoke fondly. "Just as pretty as always." Andre swung his ice cream scoop around merrily. Marinette chuckled half-heartedly. "Thanks, Andre." Andre, ever the empath, looked at Marinette with saddened eyes. "Oh, Marinette, why so glum, my dear?" She smiled, lying through her teeth. "It's fine. Nothing. All good." He didn't press any further, but Marinette could tell he didn't quite believe her. Well, then, what would the happy couple like? Oh, no, Marinette quickly interjected. We aren't a couple. Just two friends who are in need of your amazing ice cream. She stole a glance at Cat Noir, who seemed unfazed by her comment. Good. That's good. Maybe it's possible he doesn't feel the same way. She could live with that. You know, Marinette, love doesn't have to be romantic. Love can be between two friends. The ice cream maker gestured between the pair, wiggling his eyebrows. Marinette could feel heat prickling her face, reaching her ears. Cat Noir, who stood a head taller than she, placed his elbow on her shoulder. That's right! Cat exclaimed. Cat Noir then leaned in to view the different flavors of ice cream, nearly drooling at all of the possibilities. Whatever you choose will be good. A combination for the both of us, please. This one's on the house, Andre proclaimed. Now let's see. He artfully dipped his ice cream scooper in a large tub, the ice cream curling smoothly as he placed it in the cone. Lime sorbet for his neon green stare, and blueberry for her midnight hair. Andre handed the cone to the superhero, who licked his lips in response. The most electrifying of combinations. Thank you, Andre.
Thank you, Andre.
The pair responded, turning to walk down the length of the bridge. The jolly ice cream man continued down the Pont des Arts, singing, nearly dancing a jig as he drove his cart to give his treats to a line of happy couples. The pair walked in tense silence to sit on the edge of the concrete above the Seine River, where the Akuma battle had happened the day prior. Marinette grappled with these feelings. She loved him, her Cat Noir, but she didn't want to. But on the other hand, loving him felt like everything she didn't know she needed. It felt easy, natural. But would this ultimately lead to her demise? Hawkmoth still posed a large threat on Paris. But as long as Cat never found out her secret, then they'd be safe. She strived to reason with herself and give herself reasons why it was okay to love him. She had to tell him, against her better judgment. Maybe he'd run away. Maybe he'd just say thanks, but no thanks. But maybe, just maybe, he loved her too. Maybe that kiss meant something to Cat Noir as it did to Marinette. The troubled teen opened her mouth to speak at the same time as Cat. He held up a delicate hand to ask, "May I say something?" Marinette gestured for him to keep going, taking a small nibble of the lime sorbet. "Marinette, He stared at the water below as it slightly rippled from the breeze that began to chill on their cheeks. "I don't know how to start. I like you, Marinette, a lot." He turned to face her, her mouth agape, a small spoonful of sorbet waiting to be swallowed. "You do?" she choked out. "Yes, and I've been thinking about it all day. About how I kissed you yesterday, and I couldn't help wondering if that kiss meant anything to you, like it did to me." A subtle pink glow lit his cheeks. Could he read her mind? She had been wondering the same thing just moments before. What should she say? Her mouth felt dry, so she took another spoonful of ice cream before responding by kissing Cat's pink cheek. "I really like you too. I think about you a lot, and that kiss, and I think about kissing you a lot, and..." Her eyes widened, shaking her head. What did she just say? No, no! She didn't mean to say, even if it was true. Marinette hid her face from view. "You're cute when you stutter," Cat said, bumping her gently. "So, I like you and you like me. Now what?" he asked awkwardly. Truthfully, Marinette didn't know. She wasn't very experienced in the love department. He dated Luca for a brief time, but that was it. Marinette held her killy hands in her lap, fidgeting with her nail polish absent-mindedly. Should he date her partner? What would be the cost? What if Hawkmoth found out about them? He could destroy the world. Would she put the world in danger because of her love? On the other hand, they deserved to be happy. He just couldn't find out her secret identity, whatever happened. This now had to be a heavily guarded secret. He would hold her identity close to her chest. No matter what. He breathed in deeply, taking a large spoonful of the blueberry ice cream to buy her some time before answering. I think I would like to date. Color flooded her face, meeting his warm eyes. Going places together and spending time together and, He searched for the perfect words. That's usually how dating works, Mare, Cat joked. Her shoulders slumped, not realizing he was only picking fun at her. He took her hand, exploring her palm, allowing his fingers to lace through hers, the leather smoothly gliding across her hand. That sounds perfect. So, girlfriend. She was Cat Noir's girlfriend. Dating a superhero, but not just any superhero. Her partner. The more she thought about it, the more she wondered if it would work out. But she felt happy. Like, really, truly happy. Marinette smiled at him, then kissed his knuckles. A bit of ice cream trickled down the cone, catching their attention. We should probably eat this before it melts all over us. He nodded, shoving a small spoon into his mouth, his face twisting at the sourness of the lime sorbet. Marinette giggled in response. A small bit of ice cream dribbled on her finger. She stared at it pensively for a few seconds before deciding to be brave. Marinette spread the now liquid dessert on her new boyfriend's nose. Hey! He responded. As Marinette laughed at him, Cat Noir grabbed her face, smashing his ice-creamed nose into her cheek. She squealed at the cold sensation. Cat! Marinette screeched so loud that the birds resting in a nearby tree took flight. At that moment, everything felt right. The fear she had about them nearly vanished. The struggle with her identity lingered in the back of her mind, but that was a problem for future Marinette. Right now, she wanted to enjoy this time with Cat Noir. And maybe get a new ice cream. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for the next part, Multimouse Mixup. As always, stay miraculous!